wondered where the plastic drink bottles we use end up? Or how about all of those plastic straws we get at every restaurant we visit? Well, plastic pollution is something that has been plaguing our planet for decades, and it hasn't gotten any better. Special Edition spoke with two women whose life work is committed to helping the planet. I'm Sakitha Osborne. On this episode of Special Edition, we're talking about environmental activism. We speak with the daughter of Ted Turner, Laura Turner Seidel. Following in her father's footsteps, she shares with us the vision her father had and how she is continuing the fight against pollution.
Well, my dad had an idea that there needed to be a superhero for Earth. And that was, obviously Batman and Superman and Spider-Man have all been children's favorites, but he thought it was really important to educate youth on issues of global importance, so social issues, environmental issues, but he wanted to do it in a fun and entertaining way. So he and Barbara Pyle, who was a co-producer and co-founder of the cartoon, was put in charge of taking Ted's vision and making it reality. It was so successful, it was award-winning, and it focused on this superhero, but not only on Captain Planet himself, but he was really powered by young people, by youth, the 5 Planeteers from all parts of the world, 5 different continents. And this cartoon was seen in the 1990s by millions and millions of youth who could see characters that represented themselves, that looked like themselves. And that was, one of the reasons why it was so wildly popular on the continents of South America and African continent and many countries there and Asia. So it was seen in 100 countries and 23 different languages, and there's like 600,000 Planeteers who grew up watching the cartoon, millennials that self-identified as Planeteers, and it's just so cool because wherever we go, here in Atlanta or beyond, when we travel, I wear my Captain Planet t-shirt. People come out of the woodwork and say, oh my gosh, I remember that cartoon, and they can sing the song. So that means they saw a lot of episodes. And what was so beautiful about that is that now these Planeteers are, in every business sector. They're young career professionals. They're self-selecting their jobs based on their conservation ethic. And they're activists. They really get how important taking care of our planet, of the people that we share the planet with, and that's what we need more and more of. Climate change is really an urgent issue that needs to be addressed, not sometime off in the future. We all need to be doing our part, no matter what age, what gender, what race, because we owe it to our children and they're going to be holding us accountable. Even though there appears to be a big debate, as there was with, cigarette smoking in the past, there's this gray area, but believe it or not, 97% of climate scientists have agreed that man has a huge hand in causing climate change. It's coming mostly from burning fossil fuels, and we need to move to a new energy economy as quickly as possible because we have to do it within a certain time limit. Otherwise, we could reach that point of no return. So, it really is something that we need to take very seriously, is the plastic pollution problem. There's 5 gyres now around the world in our oceans, and it's not like you can walk across it. It's not an island, but the density of plastic is very high, and a lot of it isn't even on the surface of the ocean. A lot of it is sinking and is below the surface, so you can't even see it.
When you hear the quotation that scientists are predicting that by 2050 there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish, I'm about to have a heart attack. I could just burst out crying right now. I mean, what does that mean for the future of this planet? We depend on the ocean for most of our oxygen. It controls our weather. Life on this planet came out of the ocean. You know, how can we look at this, you know, a fact and not be horrified by it? If there's more plastic in the ocean than fish or life, that means we're not going to have all the creatures that move every single night from the deep part of the ocean up to, and then back down. And those are what's turning and churning and mixing the nutrients. That's what creating all the life that lives in the ocean, the vast array of incredible life that lives in the ocean. And if that's not happening, we will not have weather as we know it. We can see this change coming already. Between overfishing and this plastic ingestion, which is creating reproductive problems in the fish stocks of all different kinds, it's killing them outright from, you know, ingestion and entanglement. There's just a number of threats happening right now, and I mean, this is, I do really feel this is a moment when the ocean is calling to us. It's calling everyone who can hear or feel this in their heart that we've got to pay attention. We've got to do something right now, and we have 5 minutes, I think, before it's too late. They found a sperm whale that had some ungodly amount of plastic in its stomach. You know, it shouldn't have that. They're fishing down at the bottom of the ocean for giant squid. You know, they're having the epic battles of our classic literature about the ocean, and they're dying with stupid plastic bags in their stomach. That's just wrong. They can make the loudest sound on Earth. You know, why would we want to kill them with a plastic bag that's unnecessary? The poor sea turtle, you know, they didn't evolve with plastic bags, so they're swimming along. If you look at a picture of a plastic bag floating upside down in the water, it looks exactly like a jellyfish. And they don't even have good eyesight for determining like the difference between a thin film of plastic that floats exactly like a thin film of a jellyfish. So they're chomping it down and, you know, choking on it and dying. I mean, who doesn't want to prevent a sea turtle from dying? Guess what? Most tap water is way healthier than any plastic bottled water. So when I see somebody drinking out of a plastic bottled water, I tell them about all the problems that are associated with even room temperature water in a plastic bottle. The chemicals that come out of it, the phthalates, the bisphenols, they have been linked to many human health issues, including lower testosterone in males, ADHD, obesity, breast cancer, early menses in girls. The age of menses is now down to 8 years old. That's a baby, able to have a baby. That's wrong. And this has been linked to the estrogenating effect of these chemicals. They act like estrogen in the human body and in the animal body. So they're adding estrogen, which is the female hormone. So it's been linked to male breast development. All these reasons, like I hate seeing people drink out of a plastic water bottle, and I'll just tell them right then and there, like, do not drink out of that plastic water bottle because you're gonna, you know, hurt yourself. And plastic company doesn't want you to know that. I think they're gonna lose business, right? Everybody thinks it's safe. It's not. Not safe for us, not safe for the ocean. For all those reasons, I really think this is a movement that's underway. I think it's something that we can motivate change about because it's simple. We have replacements. Plastic is changing the course of life on this planet. It individually changed the course of my life, but it's physically altering the biology of animals and humans and creatures of all different kinds down to the planktonic level.
My pet peeve is plastic straws, not paper straws or stainless steel straws or glass straws. Straws aren't the problem, but when they're made out of oil, which is the key ingredient of plastic straws, then those don't break down in landfills. They don't go away. And a lot of those 500 million straws that are consumed in America a day, either they're going to landfill or they're ending up in our streams, in our rivers, in our oceans, on our beaches. And you can see it if you go to the beach, how much plastic pollution there is that's washing up on the beaches. You can hardly, you know, enjoy yourself. And there are a lot of people who seem to have become immune to the plastic pollution. Like they'll just walk over it or walk around it, and they continue to look for their seashells among all the plastic bags. We all have to take personal responsibility for this and to stop using it to begin with. And what we do have to use, make sure that the companies that we're supporting by buying these products actually have a plan and a program to take them back. And bottle deposits are very important. They increase the amount of recycling greatly. What's happening nationally, it seems to be a growing trend, is that recycling centers are going under. And that's due to the levels of contamination, that people don't take it seriously, and they are throwing their dirty diapers and other contaminants in with the recycling. So that means that they don't get a clean stream back, and it lowers the value of the materials so much that, you know, recycling centers are having a hard time making ends meet. Plus, some of the same recycling centers are owned by the same companies that own the landfills, and they're making more money off the tipping fees of burying the recycled materials than actually recycling it. And I know in California alone, 450 recycling centers have been closed down. And there's another effort that's going on really around the globe, and that's plastic bag bans and charging fees for plastic bags, which reduces the usage greatly. I think the fees in countries or cities where fees are being charged, it reduces the consumption by 85%. So, you know, consumers can still have access to the bags, but they have to pay a little fee. And that's really where we need to go. I know that 5 countries in Africa alone, Kenya most recently, have banned plastic bags. The state of California was the first state to do a statewide ban. And there are other states that are taking a look at it. But on the other side, the industry is coming in and trying to preempt states and cities and municipalities from ever banning plastic bags to begin with, making it illegal to have plastic bag bans. I would say if we were getting a lot more of these bags back and recycling them and turning them into economic benefit for the business community, I would say that is great, but only 3% of those bags on average are getting recycled. Where are the other ones going? And a lot of them end up in turtles' bellies in the ocean.
Fortunately, Pam and Laura are not the only ones on the forefront of change. People have been protesting the negative impacts of industrial developments around the U.S. and around the world. The youth have been no exception.
One is Hannah Testa, who's 14 years old from Forsyth County, right here in Georgia. And she became very passionate about helping animals. And when she found out that marine animals were ending up dying because of the consumption of plastic pollution, she got very involved with this issue. And she worked with her senator in Forsyth at the state capitol. And it was just really great and very powerful that, you know, here she built all this awareness for local businesses, restaurants, primarily the restaurant industry, to really think about all the plastic that they, you know, serve. And then the Reese kids, Carter and Olivia Reese, who started their own nonprofit, One More Generation, when they were 5 and 7 years old. And now he's a junior in high school, so Carter and Olivia have grown up, but they're still so passionate about these issues, and they've been going to schools and talking to students and, you know, sharing curricula that they've helped develop with experts about plastic pollution awareness. And what they ask the families to do, the children to do, is to save their plastic for a whole week and then bring it to the school, and then they do an art installation with all of that plastic out in the parking lot. So they design the installation, and then they fill it in with all of this plastic, and then they photograph the installation, and then they share it with all the students in the school and their families to say, you know, how can you be part of the solution?
You know, I'm really glad to talk about alternatives to cleaning it up, even though I am a beach cleaner, because I feel like there's a lot of value in that action. In every single piece that I pick up, I know that that one lighter or that one bottle cap is not going to end up in a bird's stomach, or that piece of net that I drag off the beach is not going to tangle another monk seal or a sea turtle or a shark or a whale. There's a lot of value in doing that. However, there's no way we can clean it up. We got to turn this tap off, this faucet that's like pouring out of every factory on the planet that's making plastic by the billions every single day. Go to a restaurant and just say, I don't really want a straw, I don't need one. Have you seen the straw video with the straw being pulled out of a turtle's nose? I can't even watch it. It makes me cry. It's so painful for the turtle, and it somehow sucked a straw up its nose, and they're pulling it out with pliers, and the blood's pouring out, and you can see the turtle just wincing in pain. They've even found a plastic fork in a turtle's nose. You know, why would we want to be involved in that kind of pain to a beautiful creature, an innocent creature? The turtle in that video did not suffer in vain, because that video went viral. It's been shared millions of times. When you see a kid see this video, they're the first people who are going to say, no, I'm never drinking out of a straw again. So when I go to a restaurant and I say no plastic straw, and I make sure that the wait person really gets why, and I say, have you seen the straw video with the turtle? And if I say no, then they're like instantly looking it up, and then you've changed another person's mind, because nobody can really see that and not be affected by the pain that turtle suffered. So
Pam has spent her life dedicated to fighting for this planet. She started the Drifters Project in 2006 and continues to work tirelessly through her artwork and volunteer efforts today.
My artwork since 2006 has been made of ocean plastic. And by ocean plastic, I mean plastic that literally comes out of the ocean. So it's been somewhere, it's been traveling, it's a drifter. And so I started the Drifters Project. In the beginning, it started just with myself cleaning beaches after I saw, you know, the stuff coming out of the beach in Hawaii. But since then, it's grown to be a global collaborative entity. So I work with lots and lots of people, from the single person on the beach that sees me doing this and joins me. They become an official member of the Drifters Project once they pick up 3 pieces and tell somebody about it. But I also work with large organizations, go on expeditions, get children's groups, adults, schools, the Naval Academy in different places in Greece and then all over the world. So it's really an entirely a global enterprise now, because plastic is a global problem. So the piece behind me is called the Flag of Lesvos, and it is made from life vests of the refugees that have landed on that island of Lesvos. Over 600,000 refugees have landed on this one small island in Greece. It's only like 6 kilometers from Turkey, so it's one of the closest things. Some people are even swimming. But if you imagine more than 500,000 people coming to this island in overcrowded, sinking boats, in life vests that were many times not even regulation life vests. I found pool floaties. I found water wings, those little like arm things, armbands for children. You know, that's not an ocean safety vest. That's not even, it barely works in a pool, you know? So how could this happen? So when I see plastic on a beach, I really feel like I'm witnessing a crime against nature. And when I first came to Lesvos and I saw the life vests discarded, I was working in the refugee camps with these desperate people who have traveled there, escaping climate change and drought and civil unrest and war and many different problems in their own countries. I started to see this is absolutely the next wave of drifters. These are human drifters, and they're being floated and ferried across the ocean on waves of plastic. So all these life vests are also made of plastic. And all of the refugees were somehow enabled to make this passage by essentially human traffickers. They paid like their life savings to make this journey. Inside of some of the life vests were plastic shopping bags. They wouldn't float. There were newspaper in some of them. These were fake life vests, in other words, and they were given to these people who spent their entire life savings to make these journeys to try to save their families and themselves by human traffickers, who took their $10,000 or whatever it cost them to make that journey, and then they gave them something that didn't even keep them afloat. I decided I needed to make something out of the life vests because they were the symbol of this island now. 600,000 refugees came with these multicolored orange and blaze red and blue life vests, and so they were all literally left on the beaches as the people landed, because they just had such a harrowing journey to get there. And so the citizens, the aid workers, everybody on the ground there had to move that material, and they moved it up into the center of the island, and basically it's like the town dump. I wanted to take that material, which was symbolic of, when you think about a life vest, it's something that saves you in the water. And so, I was going to use the covering, and I had this idea to make a flag, like a flag for this new nation of refugees, which would mean this could be a home, and it's a portable monument. It's about survival. It's about making a new place. It's about hope. And the island of Lesvos, in the way that Greeks, citizens, their culture is about hospitality and welcoming. They made a home for these people, and I think the most beautiful part of doing this work there was that there's also this story of hope, and there's also this story of the most beautiful of human qualities coming in to rescue these people. And so when I'm thinking about this idea of the life vests and a flag and the symbol of this island, I wanted to make this something that was about creating a kind of new reality. And this is a lesson for the entire planet, because I think as the oceans warm, as climate change keeps accelerating, we're going to see more and more storms, we're going to see more and more droughts, we're going to see more and more human displacement. And it's going to cause on the resilience and humanity of the entire planet to realize that we're all in this together, and if we sink, any of us, we all are sinking. There's not any sort of me against them. It's like we're all in this together. At the center of all these problems, I see essentially is this plastic, and so it's something that we relate to, we understand it, we use it every day, it's so common material, but it's also something that can be symbolic, and it can be symbolic of a transformation away from overconsumption, greed, this convenience, which has seemed to sort of, overtaken everything. Why do we have to have convenience at the cost of others' lives?
Everybody needs to take action, and as many mayors as there are with commitments to sustainability in their cities, but the big thing is that our politicians, a lot of them are climate deniers, and we're seeing rollbacks.
First, today's Energy Independence Action calls for an immediate reevaluation of the so-called Clean Power Plan. Perhaps no single regulation threatens our miners, energy workers, and companies more than this crushing attack on American industry. Second, we are lifting the ban on federal leasing for coal production. Third, we are lifting job-killing restrictions on the production of oil, natural gas, clean coal, and shale energy. And finally, we are returning power to the states where that power belongs.
You know, our president has said he's committed to is undoing the climate treaty that was signed in Paris and getting rid of the Clean Power Plan, which protects our families, you know, and the air that we breathe and our communities' health and wellness. And I really have a problem with that because so many organizations powered by so many volunteers and donors are now having to look at rollbacks on every environmental issue, whether it's water, whether it's air quality, whether it's soil health that produces our food, whether it's barriers to renewable energy moving forward, the Endangered Species Act. I think, you know, all of these issues are really under threat. And it's something to be really worried about and concerned about. And I hate to bring politics into it, but when it comes to making a difference, it really is policies and legislation. You know, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the Endangered Species Act were really important in getting it right. And to see the EPA defunded and to see what's happened with all the climate science, you know, being pulled off the website that was public facing, the potential for all of that data and science to be lost, it really is concerning. And I don't know that we have 5 years to rest on our laurels or to watch all of this being undone. I mean, it needs to be done with a sense of urgency.
As Laura and Pam have illustrated, we all have an environmental responsibility and will benefit from a much cleaner planet. It's never too late to get involved. I'm Sakitha Osborne, and this has been another special edition.